Legend of War here, and today we've got a rating your Doomstack video covering a Doomstack that you will never build this army, right? This is, rating this, I think the rating should just go out the window on this one. It doesn't matter. I just want to showcase the ridiculousness of this Doomstack. So, this one's really just about just sheer amount of effort that went into this. He's making the claim in his email that this is the strongest Doomstack that I've ever been sent in for Total Warhammer 3. That's definitely questionable. I've had some very strong ones sent in. But I can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt that this is the highest amount of effort that anyone's put into a Doomstack for anything that's been sent in. And I'd say that he's basically done this perfectly, right? So what he's got here is a bunch of masters. 19 masters. Now, masters on their own, not that big of a deal. But every single one of these masters is spiteful. So that's a bit of an effort. Now what spiteful does, it's a really good trait. It's plus 3 melee attack and plus 5% weapon strength for the entire army, which is leading to some pretty significant attack bonuses there, right? But that's not it, right? We go in and check out these characters and we see that every single one of these characters has every single name of power. And I know that immediately some people are like, that's been trait managed. However, and it could be, but he's assured me in the email that he has not trait managed and explained exactly how to do it legitimately, quote unquote. I mean, there's always going to be people come up with ways of delegitimizing this. It doesn't matter. You're not going to make it in this. You're not going to make this army. This army is so impractical. It's just ridiculous. But I'll show you how you can do it if you want to do it, right? So he's got every single one of the names of powers, right? And we'll go through all those in a bit. So if we have a look through them, yeah, every single one has got every single name of power. And he explained to me exactly how it's possible to do this, like I said, legitimately. And what I'm going to do here is test that and show you whether or not it is actually legit. So what you have to do is firstly recruit a master in your campaign, right? Get it to level 10. And then choose martial name of power. You'll get given 2 choices, pick one of them, done, right? Then you take that character and then you save it, right? Save that character, and then you go and load up a different campaign. And that's what we're going to do here. So I've saved that Spiteful, what was it called? His name was Spiteful 4, okay? Just save that character. And then we're going to go to a different campaign. So that's this campaign here that I'm showing. And this is a different one from a different thing that was sent in. Doesn't matter what difficulty. I'm going to jump it in over here. And what we're going to do is load in that character into this campaign. And what should happen is that we'll be given the choice to choose another name of power. Then you save that character, load up a different campaign, choose another name of power, so on and so forth, until you've got them all. And he did that with every single one of them. So, in theory, you'd only need to get like 15 campaigns set up. Or, I'm not sure if this works, if you play on anything other than Legendary, you could set up a descending list of save files. So let's just say you got 150 turns in. You just need to make sure you got enough money to actually purchase the heroes, right? You load in, say, turn 150, you load all the characters in, get them a new name of power, and then delete that save file, right? And then you go back one turn to 149 and then load all those characters in, because the game would have forgotten that you loaded those characters in, right? And then, get them a new name of power, save it, and then go to turn 148 and keep doing that, going backwards until you have actually gotten all the traits from, just one campaign. I don't know if that's exactly how to do it, but that's in my mind how you could do it. I don't know. So here we go. I just need to make sure I had a save file with enough money. We come over to here and we go to master, load Spiteful 4. It costs a lot of money. Load him in, and then we are given another name of power. Now, since he's already got both of these names of power, you can't get the same name of power twice, right? So if I go worm scale here, he would have already had that. Yeah, he would have already had it. It's not added down here. You can't get the same trait twice. So all you can do is get every single one of them that way, and it's just a matter of time and effort and, money. And that's how your heroes can get every single one of the names of power. Now, for a lord to get every single name of power, it's a lot easier. all you have to do is disband the Lord. So you get them to rank 10, choose whichever name of power type you want, whether you want economic bonus, strength bonus, army-wide bonus, that kind of stuff. And then you pick one of the two choices, and then you just disband the character. And when you disband that character, they'll be given the choice of a name of power. When they come back, you disband them again, they're given the choice again to get a name of power. And so, after about, say, 30, 40, 50 turns of doing this, that character has got all of the names of power available to that particular lord. And that's what he's done. So, A+ for effort. But in terms of practicality, it's just not something that you need to do in your campaigns. Like, Warhammer 3 is not a tough game. The AI is brain dead. You just don't need to put that much effort in. But I can definitely appreciate the fact that somebody's gone and done it. As I've said before, there are armies that I call like vanity armies. You don't do it because it's optimal. You do it because you can do it. It's like climbing a really big mountain and then doing nothing when you get there. It's just, you just do it for the sake of doing it. And I can appreciate that, but I think it's really important to note as well. This is not a guide on how to play this faction whatsoever. It's just pure, 100% vain. But I applaud the effort. Okay, so this is the same save file here. And we're going up against the vampire accounts here. Now, another thing to note is that they had no equipment attached into any of them. Right, I'll just actually back off again. They've got no equipment attached to them. So this is just going to see how they perform just on their own. Those are their stats. Once they get into it, they've got... Actually, let's go over the what these names of powers are exactly. So this one here, we got Blackstone, which provides physical resistance. I'm only going over the stuff that's actually important. You got the Hunger there, you got Frenzy, weapon strength 15%, you got Frenzy, you got Drake Cleaver, provides bonus versus large, plus 30, that's pretty big. You've got Regeneration through Hydra Blood, Fate Shielded provides ward save, Worm Scale provides melee defense, speed, and armor, Soul Blaze provides armor, flaming attacks, and fire resistance. Flaming attacks can be a bit of a weakness though, depending on what you're going up against. So if you're going up against High Elves, that's not great, although the fire resistance would be. The Hand of Wrath provides charge bonus plus 60 plus Bloodlust, which is not particularly great if you've got like 19 units with it, because it's not a huge boost, and it's really finicky to pop this down on individual units, so that's not something that we'll be using. Grief Bringer, you got Discouraged effect, pretty low value on that in this situation. Spite Heart here, reduced cooldown for Deadly Onslaught, Foe Seeker, and Volley of Dark Arrows, which is a bit weird because I don't think he's got Volley of Dark Arrows as an ability. So it's just weird that it's reduced the cooldown on that, but he doesn't have it. So yeah, just weird. And then it does actually provide Deadly Onslaught. Head Reaper provides magical attacks, weapon strength, missile strength. Okay, maybe you get that if you're on a Scourge Runner Chariot, which they don't get. What about a Cold One Chariot? If you switch them to a Cold One Chariot, maybe that's when they get it. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, okay, and then there's Poison Blade here for poison attack, melee attack, and ammunition. Yeah, I've got to assume that one of these mounts here provides, probably this one here, provides some kind of ammunition. So these are all just on foot here. All on foot. And we're going to see how they go up against 4 full stacks of vampire accounts.
Cruel and savage.
Now, we've also got a Lord here, but I'm not going to use that one. Just going to use the heroes and just see how they do. Now, I'll be mainly comparing this to the Nurgle hero stack, because that, I feel like, was the best one I had seen so far. That was with Festus, but that was also when it was kind of bugged when... See, that was sent in at a time when the battle heal cap was basically unlimited, so I don't know how much damage they took over the course of that battle. I just have no idea. They just did not take damage because Festus just kept healing them. And that bug has been fixed. But that's what I'm going to be sort of comparing this to. And because he did claim that this is the strongest Doom stack ever. So if these guys walk away from this battle with any damage whatsoever, then it's not the strongest army whatsoever. They don't need a life wizard or any kind of wizard, because they're all able to regen. They're all small. It's going to be hard for these guys to get hit. get into a bit of a blob. They'll provide Guardian for each other, which will only stack once. So we're looking at 10% ward save, 30% physical resistance. I guess another thing to keep in mind is because they don't have any equipment, I should give them a little bit of leniency for that. You know what, I'm just going to withdraw you from the battlefield right away. They got enough leadership that's not going to matter. Yeah, with no equipment, I guess I should give a little bit of leniency for it. Since we're the attacker, we have to go in. And here they go. So, massive stats going on there. And use all their abilities at once. But yeah, they definitely don't have volley of dark arrows. 86 melee defense means it's going to be very hard for them to get hit. Bonus versus large of 60, because they have base bonus versus large. They're anti-large by default. So that means against a large unit, they actually have like 200 melee attack. That's ridiculous. There's no amount of melee defense that they can get that would stop these attacks. And the thing is that makes this super strong as well, is that it's brainless. I don't need to make any decisions. This one is taking a little bit of damage. See, we got Bloodlust here, but what I don't like about that is you gotta do it individually on each one, and it's just I can't be bothered for... Yeah, it's barely any extra weapon strength, don't worry about it. This guy here is having a bit of a rough time of it. But aside from that, everything's working out just fine.
Ready! Whatever it takes!
It's like having an army of Tyrians in your army. Lots of spell resistance, lots of resistance, super high melee attack, anti-large. Now, here's the thing as well. If I gave them equipment, right? What equipment would help? Anything that provides melee attack, don't bother giving them more melee attack, okay? When you're at this level of melee attack, it doesn't matter anymore. So, debuffing the enemy with something like the Helm of Discord would be okay. If their melee attack is around 50 or above, then it would probably come into effect. So, if we have a look at something like Graveguard here, that probably has next to no chance of hitting any of them, right? But if we have a look at a Lord... Yeah, even this guy here has got a very low chance of actually hitting. Oh no, he's done 2,000 damage, yeah. So... something like a Helm of Discord would be good. The other things that would be useful as equipment is anything that provides more resistances, because they've got a fair bit of physical resistance, but providing more would be good. So Armor of Destinies on all of them. Talisman of Preservations, those would all be very handy in helping them reduce the amount of damage when they do get hit. But then outside of that, you wouldn't really need anything else. Like extra weapon strength, you could do it, but they've already got massive boosts. Extra melee attack, nah. Melee defense maybe, because you could always use a bit more of that. He did say that the Mortis engine was actually the biggest concern. So maybe I just leave it and see what happens. They've all got perfect vigor, so I really don't need to do this. So regenerating fairly quickly, but they will eventually run out of regen.
No fear.
You can see these masters just taking out 2 Blood Knights with each attack. Now, another thing is, if you're wondering, why have them on foot instead of on a mount? So a weird sort of thing happens in Total War Warhammer, where the bigger you are, the weaker you are. And it also depends on the mount, right? So horses, for example, suffer from this the most. Now, typically speaking, when you put a character on a horse, you get a marginal boost to your health stat, but you get a very, very large increase in your size, right? So when you're small, only a certain number of entities can possibly have a chance of hitting you at any given time. These guys over here, they can't hit us, right? And so when you become on a horse, instead of having like 4 possible entities that can attack you at once, it goes up to like 8. And so even if your stats are higher, you're still getting attacked more often. So your stats are actually effectively lowered when you're in that sort of situation. In addition to that, small units can get knocked down, and when you're knocked down, you can't actually take damage, whereas large units like horses can't be knocked down, and therefore they never have that sort of... They can still be stunned, like they get hit and it interrupts their attack animation, but they can't be stunned to the point where they can't be attacked, whereas small units can. Now, there are exceptions to this kind of thing, like when you get ridiculously big and really good animation. So, for example, Carnosaur mounts. That's an exception to this rule because they are very tall. So even though you do increase your size when like a Saura Scar veteran goes on it, this guy's about to hit his max regen. You do increase your size, but because there's a lot of vertical size, it doesn't increase the amount of entities that hit you that much. And also the animation is really fluid, they're jumping around a lot, so it sort of compensates that a bit. So don't just look at the stats, you have to look at the animations as well. Also, another thing is being on foot makes it virtually impossible to get shot in these sort of situations because units just will not shoot at you. Whereas if you're on a horse or on a chariot, they'll definitely try to shoot at you. Whatever. So how many more do we have left to go? Still quite a bit. Okay, another one over here reaching its max regen cap. So this is really just an indication that there is no amount of strength that you can possibly give a unit to make it absolutely invincible. Even with all of those traits, it's not invincible. Like, this is a lot of force to go up against. But yeah, they're not invincible. And so yeah, the guy made the claim about this being the strongest Doom stack ever. I don't agree. I don't agree that it is. I've seen stronger. Even with equipment. Like, equipment would definitely help, and he probably wouldn't have taken this much damage, but even with equipment, I'd say that I've seen stronger. I get that it's really impressive to have all of the names of power. But some of those names of power aren't really that big of a deal. So it just depends on how you look at it. I definitely appreciate the amount of effort that went into it. There's no doubt about that. And he did assure me that he didn't trait farm. Trait manage. But the thing is with Trait Manager is that it leaves no imprint on a save file whatsoever. I did a little bit of testing with this. There is no way for me to know if someone's using Trait Manager. Apart from just, it looks like it. There's no way for me to actually know with that kind of stuff, because if you take the Trait Manager mod off the save file and then send it to me, there's no imprint that it was ever there. I can't check.
Ruthless!
But I appreciate the fact that he sent in an explanation on how to do this legit. So we know that it is possible to make this without using mods. And of course, how legitimate it is depends on who you ask. You know, there'll be a couple of people in the comments, I mean, go check yourself, they'll be like, loading characters is cheating because you're not supposed to do that. You know, whatever. You're always going to get people like that. like I said, I'm not here to tell you how to play your campaigns. Like, I'm not gonna do this in my campaigns. I'm not gonna do it. Like, I just can't be screwed to even give this an attempt. But I could admire the effort that went into it. Because it's a vanity army. I don't really care much for vanity armies. And that's why I'm saying I'm not even gonna raid it anyway. Oh, this guy's not even doing anything. Get in there.
Ruthless! Whatever it takes!
Alright, so these three here, if we don't want them getting wounded, they need to be pulled out of the fight and just withdrawn. They're fast enough that they should be able to get away. Anything that's fast enough to pursue them, they can turn around and kill.
Away!
But I need to get them out of this blob.
Over there!
Battle's almost over anyway. Yeah, they're killing at a really good rate.
I can!
Out you come. There we go. They just don't have any more healing left. There we go. Come on, out you come. Yep, those Blood Knights want to take him down. That's okay. Stop him. So you got to take him out before they die, obviously. If you start doing it when they got like 100 health left, you're not going to get away. Right, off you guys go. So yeah, when we use Deadly Onslaught, it gives us about an extra 100 damage because that extra 50% damage output is applied to the base, not the current weapon strength. A lot of people don't realize that. And their base weapon strength is like a lot lower than this, like what, 400? So we got another few over here that are about to hit their... Oh, this one is not going to hit its regen cap. It's just taking a lot of damage quickly. And there's the army losses. Wow, another army that can take on 4 full stacks of vampires. We haven't seen that before. Let's go finish this off. But yeah, I sometimes think that some people look towards this series as like how to build like an optimal Doom stack. And the truth is, I don't believe that you should build Doom stacks in Warhammer 3. I know that comes as a bit of a shock for some people, and I've been getting asked about this since Warhammer 3 first came out. You know, what Doom stack should I build with this race? And I keep saying, I said it since Warhammer 3 came out, I don't build Doom stacks in Warhammer 3. I just don't do it. Because the reasons for recruiting Doom stacks, like in Warhammer 2, don't apply in Warhammer 3. The reason why I built Doom stacks in Warhammer 2 was because supply lines were crippling, and it was better to have like 1 or 2 super armies than lots of crap armies. The AI had ridiculous melee cheats, and so to bypass them, you would just have to build an army that was so strong that it didn't matter how many cheats that they had. And also the AI's behavior, they would zerg at you. They'd just go straight for your armies. And so you ended up fighting a lot of battles in a short amount of time. Whereas in Warhammer 3, you know, you've got lower supply lines. So money's not really an issue if you want to build lots of crap armies, which is actually what I do.
I do not need them.
The AI is incredibly skittish. And so sometimes you might go several turns without a fight, which means your armies don't need to be Doom stacks. And it's very easy to just replace units in Warhammer 3. So I often find myself I just don't build Doom stacks. So whenever I'm rating these stacks here, it's just vanity, right? It's up to you. There are some stacks in the game that are really worth getting, right? For example, like Skaven weapons teams, that's really worth getting. Same thing with like Vampire Curse, Necrofex, Colossus, because it's Doom stacks that are like really convenient to get. But something like this that is so inconvenient, you're not doing this in order to win the campaign. You do this as a reward for winning your campaign. See, he's already won the game, and this is just showing off. And there's nothing wrong with just showing off, being like, hey, look what I spent my 100 hours of my week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, whatever he spent, doing. And to those people that want to do that, I give them a pat on the back, because I'm like, I can appreciate that. You know, I've done that kind of stuff before. I do it less with Warhammer 3 than I used to. Spend a ridiculous amount of time doing something just so somebody can be like, "Attaboy, that was good." I mean, you didn't need to do it, but good job. That's what it's all about, and this is that to the extreme. So to this guy, he gets a massive attaboy, because that is, you cannot make a better master Doomstack. It is perfected. I mean, you know, just needs to put equipment on, but he sent 2 save files, one with equipment, one without, and I chose to test it without equipment. It did really well. 4 full stacks defeated, you know, a little bit of damage on our guys, but, you know, they could have been stronger. I had no spellcaster on the army. If we had a spellcaster, it would have been even better. You know, Shadow Wizard popping down Pit of Shades on them, that would have been amazing. Fire Wizard popping down Flamestorm, awesome. Dark Wizard popping down Blade Wind, awesome. You know, there's lots of different things that we can do with it. Beast Magic popping down extra buffs, don't really need them, but you can do that. Flock of Doom. But yeah, as a vanity army, this is really, really impressive. And I think the main thing to take away from this is how to get your heroes all of those traits. Because I know a lot of people out there, they want to collect them all. They want to get all those traits. And you can do that without mods. And you can also do it with mods. And it comes down to, it's not about what the end result is. It's about the journey getting to that end result. If you just use a trait manager and just instantly get it, then, you know, the journey is kind of lame. That's kind of like picking up a book, reading the last page of it, and finding out what happens at the very end. Cool, if that's what you want to do, all the more power to you. But for most people, it's about the journey, and I think that, at least what this guy here said, based on his explanation, he went through one hell of a journey. And so I applaud him for that. But I'm not going to rate this Doomstack because you're not going to make this. Let's be real here. Like, post in the comments whether or not you're actually going to make it. No, you're not. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to touch. I don't even like playing Dark Elves, you know, in Warhammer 3. If I'm going to play Dark Elves, I'll play them in Warhammer 2. I think the Dark Elves are horrible to play in Warhammer 3. They're strong. I just think they're boring. But yeah, awesome. So yeah, you can just keep getting the names of power that way. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. I appreciate this guy for sending this one in. This is not a Doomstack that I would recommend trying to build, but if you want to do it, by all means, don't let me stop you. But basically, you win your campaign before you sort of get to it. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.